From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Just ahead on Montana This Morning, a severe summer storm delivering that uppercut to Billings from toppled trees and down power lines. Billings is in cleanup mode this morning after miles and miles of damage left in its wake. Plus, Secret Service level of security as former President Trump sets to arrive in Bozeman will take you behind the plans to keep everyone safe. And the NTSB is releasing new information about last year's train derailment near Reed Point. We're going to give you all of the details. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us on this August 8th. I'm Andrea, Lutz in for Augusta. And Miller, you're busy this morning as well, tracking the cool down.
Oh, yes, a nice change of pace, nice quiet weather for the next couple of days. And then we get into the weekend, we have a better chance, maybe some showers and thunderstorms coming into play. Still too early to say for sure if we're going to see the atmosphere ramp up again to give us some strong weather. So that's definitely something we'll keep an eye on. But right now, man, it is feeling good as you wake up this morning here in the Magic City. We're sitting at the mid 50s. Yesterday, coming off a day we were well below average, mid 60s yesterday. Our overnight low pretty much on target. Had a little bit of rain yesterday, a bit windy at times. We're going to still see some gusty winds over the next couple of days with gusts over 20 miles an hour possible. With that rain over the last couple of days, we remain on the plus side for the month, but still in the hole for the year. Maybe this weekend we can catch up, make some ground on that with those potential showers and thunderstorms coming into play. So we still have a little bit of rain around Sheridan this morning. Sheridan, the Bighorns, maybe a better opportunity to see some rain today. 40s and 50s right now. Highs today mainly in the 60s and 70s. You can see it's going to be nice and cool. And then we start a warming trend tomorrow, and then maybe next week getting hot again. We'll take a look. Coming up, Andrea.
All right, Miller, thanks so much. This morning, we do continue our coverage of that cleanup from Tuesday's storm. It tore through Billings. Wind, hail, and heavy rain left trees toppled, damaging homes and hundreds of shredded trees. Well, the mountain of mess stretches for miles, with homes seeing some as much as $10,000 worth of damage. Some homeowners say it was like living through a tornado. Our Isabel Sparts met with a resident facing that reality.
Tuesday night storm in Billings saw over 70-mile-per-hour winds, causing large trees like this one to fall over. Some residents were left with minor damage, but others, like those in the Windsor Court mobile homes, were left with massive destruction.
It was a freak accident of nature.
After Tuesday's massive windstorm, many are still trying to pick up the debris. But for Windsor Estate resident Victoria Coulterer, it will be more than just sticks and branches to clean up.
I felt my house shaking, and then all of a sudden my house just this loud boom, and I heard breaking glass, and that's when the tree branch crashed through my roof.
That large tree demolished her daughter's bedroom, but that's not all it did. The base of that same tree also completely demolished the front of her neighbor's home.
It was terrifying, and the whole neighborhood, and our whole neighborhood here has just been demolished.
Across the street, Lottie Few was home with her mother and had just left her bedroom when seconds later, a tree crashed through the roof and onto her bed.
Loud crashing, suddenly the hallway's lit, it's cold, it's wet. I felt something brush against my back, but I was that close to it happening.
Look at the house. There's a tree in our house. And until later, after all of that settled and I saw how shaken she was, I didn't realize how close she was to that when it happened.
And that's not the sound of running water, but instead a massive gas leak caused by another tree that toppled over, forcing residents to evacuate.
And you could hear it hissing loudly.
It sounded like water.
Yeah, it sounded like someone left the hose on.
I was yelling, "Someone help me!" And the gentleman from 3 doors down came down and cleared my porch off so I could get out of my house.
A few hours later, residents received a green light to return, but for some, there was no home to come back to.
This is my home, and it's no longer, it's a shell, and it's very devastating. I know it's just material things, but it's my home, and it's, where do you go? Where do you go?
An unfortunate situation, but one that has brought neighbors together during uncertainty.
Everyone has been so here for each other. That's what we need right now, because this isn't something that any one person can handle alone. The main takeaway is just
be grateful for what you have.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.
And the sound of chainsaws has filled much of the city. Businesses that specialize in tree removal, they say this is their Super Bowl. Yesterday, crews finished removing this tree that fell on 2 cars in Alderson and 5th Street West and Lake Elmo Drive. Tree removal businesses were busy after that 100-year-old tree knocked down power lines. It was more of the same thing on Wicks Lane in the Heights. The city was busy cleaning up debris left on the sidewalks there.
Sweepers will be out cleaning up the road, and then over at our yard we'll have guys chipping all the branches and stuff like that too.
Area tree businesses say they're now about a week wait to get those trees removed. But perhaps the most impressive part of the destruction was felt in Lockwood, leaving the Little League facility there, finding solutions to damaged property. The Little League field and the bleachers were just purchased one season before they were completely destroyed 36 hours ago. The winds from the storm ripped the roof off one of the dugouts and flooded another. President of the Lockwood Little League board, Lindsay Parks, says 250 kids use the field and it won't be playable for a while.
Sad, just because, you know, this is a field for kids and we're solely ran off volunteers and donations. Trying to figure out if we have the insurance to cover something like this. Unfortunately, it's looking like we don't have, you know, the coverage.
Well, she says the insurance won't cover damage from weather. Park says they're in dire need of donations, though, whether it's time or money, and you can visit their Facebook page to contribute. Dozens of homes in Billings and across the area are still without power at this hour, 2 days after the storm. Northwestern Energy crews are in full force, saying they're working around the clock to get the lights back on. At one point Tuesday night, more than 10,000 people were without power just here in Billings. Oh, this morning, new information surrounding last year's derailment that sent 9 train cars tumbling into the Yellowstone River. The National Transportation Safety Board released that new report identifying catastrophic failures on the railroad bridge as the cause of the June 2023 derailment. The crash spilling over 400,000 pounds of asphalt into the river, and the Federal Railroad Administration is also investigating, say it wants to know whether the bridge failed first or the cars derailed first and then damage the bridge. The Railroad Administration, though, is not commenting on this latest report. The countdown is on. Former President Donald Trump is set to visit Montana tomorrow, rallying with Republican Senate candidate Tim Sheehy. The event kicks off at 8 at Brick Breeden Fieldhouse in Bozeman. There's tightened security at all those political rallies, and tomorrow's is going to be even more heightened in light of a recent assassination attempt. The Secret Service says it's working closely with law enforcement to keep everyone safe. And while we don't have the specifics, officials did release details about road closures across the city. One Bozeman resident and former Secret Service agent gave us a glimpse at what we can expect.
So the magnetometers, metal detectors, all the attendees will be processing through those. I would anticipate that the lines will be pretty long and the protocols will be very robust around the screening process, searching vehicles as appropriate, people as appropriate, and everybody attending will go through the magnetometers.
If you can't attend the rally, but you would like to watch it, we are going to stream it Friday on our MTN channel and on the KTVQ streaming app. If you're wondering, it is free, and you can find it over the air on channel 2-2, or you can go to mtnmontana.com for details on how to find it. And of course, we want to let you know about this. The FBI out of Salt Lake City, which covers Montana, has had 2 weeks giving residents an inside look during the first ever FBI Citizens Academy. As MTN's Allie Kaiser explains, many were in attendance learning about the complex work agents do.
It's a concerned citizen.
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a spy.
I was working as a teller at a bank in Missoula, and I was robbed.
Attendees learn hands-on alongside FBI special agents, like dusting and lifting fingerprints.
Try and go directly in the center, and you're going to push it down.
And organizing evidence with case numbers, dates, locations, descriptions, and more. One attendee is Helena's Christopher Facundo. He has been a permanent resident of the U.S. since 1994, but became a citizen 2 years ago.
For new citizens coming from different countries, I think this would be a good opportunity for them to understand how the rule of law really applies.
Like Facundo, Pastor Lori Jungling from Great Falls attended the academy to further her civics education and kept her congregation in mind during the class.
Often all we see is, what's on TV and what's in the social media and those types of things. And so now I have a better understanding that I can bring.
Dispelling myths about the FBI from what people see in movies and TV shows is one of the main goals of the Citizens Academy.
There's a lot that's out there that makes us look really kind of glamorous, and the reality is that the men and women who work for the FBI are hardworking folks just like everybody else.
Citizens Academy attendees heard from roughly 20 FBI special agents and experts to learn about what they do, including a demonstration from Montana's only FBI bomb tech, who let attendees try on his 90-pound suit.
I hope this doesn't get stuck.
Departments included counterintelligence, art and violent crimes, the behavioral analysis unit, financial scams, and more. But the Citizens Academy is not only about informing the public.
We want to learn about what people are doing in the community and how we can work with each other to improve the community and really be meaningful contributors and not just keep to ourselves.